And we're off. Welcome to the summer program meeting for the business and graduate programs. We typically hold these meetings during the in-service, but I'm trying a different tactic in order to try and get a little more participation, live participation in the meetings. So I'm going to be holding 2 meetings at least during the quarter, and I'll do one in the evening, one during the day. And they most likely will no longer be in conjunction with the in-service. So, yeah, understand, cats, understand. My daughter has been going, I mean, there's a reason they call it mom's taxi, right? So, all right, so the agenda, I just wanted to explain to you what it means that I'm now the program dean instead of the program chair, talk a little bit about lecture review quizzes, announcements, course audits, library components, and then wrap things up with my usual statements on program input. So, I'm Stephanie Heald-Fisher. I'm the program dean now. This is my contact information. It is my cell phone. If you need to call or text, I take either one. And I am in the process of moving right now. So I'm coming to you from a hotel because I'm currently homeless. They packed up our house and took all our belongings away on Wednesday. And we don't move into our new house for about 2 weeks. So, yeah, we're moving. I live in South Carolina. We're moving closer to Charlotte in North Carolina, but I will still be in South Carolina. Charlotte's like right on the border, and their metropolitan area extends into South Carolina. So it's one of those interesting cities where you say, oh, I live near Charlotte. And they're like, are you in North Carolina? No, South Carolina. So anyway, so program dean, I still have all the responsibilities I did when I was program chair, but as the dean, I become even more the point person that you would reach out to. If you have any questions with classes and assignments, any issues that you're having, please see me as your first point of contact. I will be taking on more responsibilities as well. I'll be doing the course audits that John used to do. I'll be doing the course scheduling. I will be participating in your annual reviews. So basically, I'm taking on more of the management responsibilities for both programs. So that's kind of the difference. Just so you're aware, it wasn't just like, let's pick a different title. Again, please see me as your first point of contact for any questions with business or graduate program. So, that exciting news over. I wanted to talk a little bit about the lecture review quizzes. In our classes, every lecture review quiz question, it says, in 2 to 3 sentences, give me your aha moment. I want to encourage you to think about changing those and specifying them more for your particular lectures, your lecture videos. If you were giving your lecture live, what is a question that you would ask your class? And then change the lecture review question to that question that you've come up with. I know that some of you do this already, and I'm kind of sharing this as a best practice because of that. This is an example of some of my lecture review quiz questions for MG 531. It's a graduate course, so since I expect a little more out of my graduate students, I ask for 1 to 2 paragraphs instead of 2 to 3 sentences. If you change the question, it's a little bit more focused for the student, a little more meaningful for them, and it improves the instructor-student interaction. So for this one, okay. So Catherine says she's discussed this with John and she has lecture options. So for example, in Unit 1, students can choose from 3 different lectures. So, okay, so you like for them to summarize because they're all looking from a different lecture. Got it. And that's fine. That's fine. I'm just showing this as kind of something to consider for instructors who feel like they're not getting anything from students in the lecture review quiz answers. Like, Craig Johnson explained this to me, what he does with the lectures. For those of you who are old enough, there used to be a really great radio host named Paul Harvey, and he used to do these little snippets that were called the rest of the story. And Kat, you would much rather have a multiple choice quiz that you can change it. That's fine with me. You know, if you want to individualize the quizzes to the lecture in your particular class, that's fine. We can't necessarily do that in the common, because what happens if somewhere along the way somebody else teaches it? Oh, okay, sorry. You can use your mic too if I'm not understanding it right. But anyway, back to Craig's idea, which was the rest of the story. And he suggests that, you know, when you're doing a lecture, that's what he likes to do. He likes to take what the topic is in the text and then build on it and add information that the text doesn't have. For instance, in this particular class, in Unit 3, the text references the concept of groupthink. And it just kind of briefly defines it and says, you know, here's what to watch for. So in my lecture, I take it further and I give them a history of the study of groupthink. It actually started with the Challenger explosion. Not that groupthink was a new concept, but it really came into researchers' focus when that Challenger accident happened. And groupthink really became an important item of study in terms of teamwork and communication. So I kind of give them that background. And then I also give them ideas for preventing groupthink when they're in a team, which is something the text doesn't do. So I've changed my question to reflect that. You know, if you're a leader of a team, what step do you think you would like best for preventing groupthink? Okay, so again, this is not required. This is just an idea. You know, it's something to make. I was finding in my particular classes that the lecture review quizzes were not getting very much of input. Didn't seem very much like a learning experience for the students. So if you're finding that in your classes, this is one way to ramp it up, I guess. Also, the next topic is announcements. So, right now, you are required to post a welcome announcement in Unit 1 and the course survey announcement towards the end of class, Units 5 or 6. This is going to be changing in the faculty expectations. John will probably be bringing this up at a faculty meeting sometime in the near future. But I wanted to give you a heads up. We are going to change it to requiring 2 announcements per week. We feel like this would be, again, a way to increase student and instructor interaction by having more announcements. And I encourage you to make the announcements meaningful and worthwhile to the students. You know, don't just post a couple of lines. Include things like clip art or add a link to a video. They can be used. I mean, the way I do it is they didn't know. Students say they didn't know that the announcements existed. Yep. I get that sometimes, but I think there are students that read them. And, because others don't use them. You're right. You're right. So use the announcements for clarifying a difficult assignment. If you see a trend in your class, with the homework assignments, it's not like in the discussion where you can reroute everybody. So maybe you post it in the announcements. And you can click on it to have the announcement emailed to your students, so you can do, two things at once. So I just wanted to show you a really easy way to do 2 announcements per week. Okay, so this is my welcome announcement. I post my welcome announcement, but I usually give them a little preview of the week, and then I always list what are the assignments that are due, and be sure to contact me. News items connecting material to the real world are a great midweek announcement. Thanks, Katz. That's an excellent idea. I really like that one. And again, you can put a direct link right in the announcement, or you could, if it's, a video, you could embed the video in there. That's great. So you could do this kind of announcement every week, and that would be one of your announcements. On Monday of every week of my class, I do this kind of announcement. I give them a paragraph or so of a preview of the week and a list of their assignments. I do like to jazz them up a little bit, so I'll put like Unit 2. In this one, it's leading and managing and coaching. Oh my! So that's from Wizard of Oz, Lions and Tigers and Bears. Oh my! So I do use a little bit of humor. And then another thing I always do is I always post an announcement when my grades are when grading is completed. Remind everyone to click on their grades, read their comments, download attachments, because I use rubrics that they need to download, that I put feedback in discussions, so I kind of let them know your grades are there. Feel free to review them so that you do better in class. So what does this look like in the class? I mentioned I use like clip art. So like for my welcome, my unit welcome, I have this little welcome collage clip art that I use. And then you can see down here the greetings everyone, the paragraph, the list of assignments, and so forth. For leading and managing and coaching OMI, I use this picture of a manager helping the employee get to success. So that's what I use for that particular announcement. And like for the grades posted, I have this little orange dude holding up an A+ grade. So if you're somebody who hasn't put in like clip art or videos or links in your announcements, clip art's an easy way to start. And it just makes it a little more inviting to the student to read, and it kind of breaks it up a little. If you have an announcement that's just words, it's kind of like reading a PowerPoint that's just sentences. It's like your audience is like, mind numbed. So any other questions or ideas for announcements? Katz, thanks for sharing your idea about the midweek announcement. Okay. All right. You do audios every Monday. So that's an audio announcement that you do every Monday? Video. Okay. So kind of like this, you record it and you send it out. Yeah, Screencast-O-Matic, I love that. Very cool idea. See, these are great ideas. These are ways to share best practices and really improve that instructor-student interaction. Because the more that we can interact with our students, the more they're going to come to us and reach out for assistance, the more comfortable they're going to feel. If we're just somebody behind a computer that types a few comments every week, it's more intimidating to the student. That's great. Sorry. So show students where to find resources and what to do and give them examples. Well, that's awesome. That's really cool. Hey, Katz, would you mind sending me one of those? And I can share it with everybody as a best practice. So, okay. Okay, which day would you like? Sorry. Yeah, whenever it's convenient, just send it to me is fine. Sorry. It just came out. So anyway, sure, that would be great. You've got some really great ideas on how to use announcements, and since we're going to be going to the 2 per week, you know, I would love to be able to share some examples with people besides mine. So, how about a regular one? Okay, because we would be using the regular ones more, you know, than the welcome one, I think. And I'm thinking in terms of welcome as the unit one announcement. So, course audits, what does that mean? One of the projects I've been assigned is to do an audit of all of our business and graduate courses, all our core courses. I'm going to be going into the classes and checking out, you know, texts and syllabi, course objectives and outlines, addendums, assignments, discussions, or resources. Just really going in there and making sure that it's the best possible course that we could provide to our students, that all our links work, that the assignments make sense, and that kind of stuff. But I'm not an expert on all these topics. I mean, we all know that business is a very broad field. And so as you're teaching your classes, if you come across something in any of these kind of topics, I would sincerely appreciate it if you would drop me a line and just say, you know, this text we're using isn't very good. I'd prefer to use, I would recommend using this one. These objectives are stale. They really need to be updated. Here's what I would recommend they be. This assignment doesn't seem to fit with the topics for the week, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm going to be going through the classes and looking at these things, but if you have any ideas, I'm, you know, always open to them. The last topic is library components. And what this is, Amy O'Shea, our librarian, is going to be putting in more focused library instruction resources into our classes. And right now, the only class that she has on the list that has specifically tailored library instruction resources is BS 180. So, if you have a class that has a research assignment that you think your students would benefit from, specific instruction on how to find library resources for that particular research assignment, I'd love to hear about it. Again, I'm going to be going through and looking at these courses, but if there's one that like pops to the top of your head right away, I would love to know that. The idea is to try and encourage students to use the library more and see what a wealth of information it really and truly is, and how it can really help them improve their grades even. So, any questions on that one? All right. If not, it's to our favorite slide, the program input slide. As always, and some of you are super about reaching out to me and giving me suggestions or letting me know course concerns or things that should be adjusted. You know, I know Katz, you've given me ideas, Craig Johnson, Sherry, Greg Coughlin. I get a lot of good ideas from you guys, and I love it because you guys are the experts. You are, you know, basically the front line, I guess, with these courses, and you know how well they work or don't work. I cannot guarantee that the ideas you offer will be implemented. I cannot guarantee that the ideas would be implemented immediately, but I can guarantee that I will do my best to see if it's something we can do. So, also, if there's something you would like training on, I would be very interested in hearing that. You know, if there's a topic you'd like me to cover in these meetings with more ideas, again, I would love to know that. So bottom line is Just let me know when you have any thoughts, concerns, ideas, questions, desires, and I'll do what I can to address them and get us to where we need to be. Makes sense? Okay, silence is golden. All right, this slide does not apply to those of you who are here. This slide is for the people who were unable to attend. So that's all right. So you have to send a summary to me showing that you've watched the video. It's due by Friday, September 1st, and it is required for continued teaching assignments. I am taking attendance at these, and I am marking down when I get summaries. So if you want to keep teaching in the business and/or graduate program, I'd like to hear from you if you weren't able to attend the meeting today. Are there any questions? Does anybody have any burning questions, issues they'd like me to try and address? All right. So I don't see any. Catherine says nope, and I don't see any others. So that's pretty much it. Short and sweet as always. So, thanks, Cats. I appreciate it. I really would like to send those out as best practices. Thank you to all of you for your time and attention, and for all the wonderful things you do for the students and for our schools and for our programs. Have a good weekend, everybody.